So it seems the internet it's up in their arms again because it's a new week. There's multiple things they have to complain about Xbox. Not that they were complaining about the exact same things about the other platform, and they're using the price point as an excuse, but these people are moronically just mentally insane. There is no two ways about it, especially the last clip that I'm going to show you. It's just going to blow your entire mind. I'm not even joking. My guy turns around and says, I walk into a BMW shop and buy a BMW and then get upset that he bought a BMW. That's the analogy. But you'll hear that at the end of this because right now, what we're talking about is this. This was Tim Dog's response to the Sarah Bond interview. I just watched that totally set up interview with Tim, the editor, or Mashable, who totally was given a script or predetermined questions and led on is a disgrace to the face of journalism. Like, this is completely disrespecting Mashable. The questions that they asked were pretty on point. They asked some of the more difficult questions, especially the rumors of where Xbox is going. Now, there's always going to be questions that they're allowed to ask, they're not allowed to ask. Now, me talking about that aspect got me in hot waters before, if you remember. But it's common knowledge that this is normally a thing. When you have like a proper interview, there are certain things that you simply just don't ask, or they tell you in advance that you can't ask. It's very rare that they say, "Hey, I'm an open book. You can do this." But obviously, he knows this, but he's just going to continue calling people out. Also, Sarah and her talking down to every self-respecting Xbox fan, telling them that they want the things they simply don't want, like Copilot. That was even more disingenuous than four games. Now, the four games, as we already know, the clip is there for everyone to go and see. Phil says it's four games. Don't expect more. We will see what it means for the business and then decide how that affects the business. If it's essentially, if it does well, they're going to do more. If it makes them money, if it doesn't, then they're going to stop there. It did well, and so they see more. So this four games, even he knows what the score is for those just four games, but he is continuously using it as a gotcha moment. The co-pilot one is a mixed bag because I think at the end of the day, that's a self-foretelling prophecy where it's just going to cannibalize itself. And if it continues to be as effective as people are hoping it's going to be, well, people are going to stop making guides because you're not going to that guide anymore to get their information. And so they're not going to get the views or the clicks. So I don't see this being a thing that will take off unless publishers themselves start making the guides for them. I am never touching another Microsoft product ever again. That is a total lie. I guarantee you he will go and touch another Microsoft product. In fact, he's probably done it already. So here we have, instead of Sunday, it happened on Tuesday. And now we're talking about this whole The Verge Xbox dev kit increasing price from $1,500 to $2,000. Now, this isn't a big price jump when you're talking about dev kits, but what they also omit to tell you, and 30 seconds of searching would have shown this, is that you can get free dev kits. By the ID Xbox program, you can unlock the developer mode on your console for $20 as an individual and $100 if you are a publisher or a software studio. You can do that and turn your actual retail Xbox hardware into a dev kit. In fact, when I used to work at Sega, we used to use retail Xbox 360s with the exact same thing, where they were being unlocked as dev kits. They weren't nothing special, they were just retail boxes. But as you know, what do I know? I've only just worked in the industry. I've only just seen it firsthand. But also, if you are a partnered publisher or a studio, you get free dev kits. It's only for those that are not partnered that you do not get a free dev kit. Just like Sony does. If you're a partnered, you know, person with Sony, if you're a partner studio with Sony, you get it for free. But if you don't, you pay up to 2.5 to 3 grand. But you know what? That's okay because it's a right to pay 2.5 to 3 grand for a PlayStation dev kit, but God forbid you pay 2,000 for a Microsoft one. Wait a minute. One is way more expensive. And I'm not just getting this from my ass, by the way. I've actually been in contact with a few devs that I know, and they've confirmed it. Right? So there's none of this bull crap going on here. This is real stuff. But yes, Sony do give free dev kits to partnered studios. As long as they are partnered with PlayStation and Sony, they get it for free. It's not like theirs to keep. It is a loan, and Sony can withdraw it at any point. But that is the deal that they go through. But if you want one for yourself, for your studio, there's a cost to it. You've got Pio over here. I'm convinced Microsoft hates Xbox. Today announced dev kits going up from 1,500 to 2,000 for developers. Like, that's the key. You see all of them congregating around. You know that calendar that VGF Fight School made? I'm actually starting to believe that he actually got that stolen from someone's machine or something, from a PlayStation fan. Everything in that calendar thing is slowly coming true. It's crazy, but he's actually calling it out time for time. Kudos to him, man. But these guys are literally all coming out almost verbatim, copy and paste reporting on the same thing, as if all it took was like 5 minutes of them using some common sense and doing some Google search, and you will see that Idea Xbox still gives partnered people 2 free units, one for development, one for QA. You can turn your retail machines into dev kits. In fact, you can use your PC, download software through the Microsoft Dev Store, their developer tools, and actually turn a portion of your machine into an Xbox. It runs on the XGDK software, so it's essentially the same thing. It limits the hardware and mimics what a Series X will be. There's no reason that you can't get access to this at a cheaper end. But if you want more of them, you go and pay. And this payment that you're seeing over here, the 1,500 to 2,000, essentially is for those that are not partnered. If you are partnered, there are multiple ways to get it for free or for a super low premium, like $100, which is nothing, right? But even, let's just go and say, even if they had to pay 2,000, an average, small studio will only need like 2 of them. And if you're looking at, a bigger studio, they'll need like maybe 10, 15. It's not a lot of money when you're talking about how much money these companies are spending. Even Sony's £2,500 to £3,000, $3,000, price point for non-partnered studios, it looks like a lot of money, but for these companies, it's just something they're going to write off. So it's weird that this is actually news, but do you know what? Because it's Xbox news, it has to get magnified. The writing is on the wall for Xbox. They are done. There is literally no point in owning a new Xbox when it releases. Such is interested in gaming and is all in on AI. The Game Pass model was a failure. It's actually not a failure. It's actually doing really well. Layoffs have destroyed game devs' morale. I mean, layoffs have happened across the whole industry. So does that mean layoffs at Sony? Ubisoft just announced they're doing layoffs as well, by the way. And all these other companies, they're okay, right? Their layoffs are, according to this guy over here, Reese, he was, apparently all these other studios laying off staff, it's happy days. It's singing the kumbaya and doing all of this awesome stuff. I bet he was there with the cha-chas and going like this because it's a thing to celebrate when those studios and those companies and those publishers lay people off, according to Reese. But when it's an Xbox studio, it's the end of times. Ragnarok is upon us once again. All I'm saying is, I'm sorry, mate, but the bullshit is reeking all over the place. Layoffs have destroyed the game from a marketing standpoint. There is no FOMO at all. It's the Sony and Nintendo show going forward. Call it what you like, but he's referring to this essentially. Xbox dev kits are getting a price hike, and they're still cheaper than the PlayStation ones for non-partnered people. It's still cheaper. But they won't tell you that, because if they told you that it was, he wouldn't get those 34,200 views. He wouldn't get the 661 likes. He would get like 2 likes and maybe about 5 views. But grifters are going to be grifters, right? It comes with the nature. Colt Eastwood over here also came out recently and started attacking Xbox for the same reason, but he's done the bigger, thing to himself. I apologize. I should have done more research. Idea Xbox loans free dev kits to all approved partners, same as PlayStation, which cost even more than XDK. Thanks to devs that reached out for correction, the Xbox tax is real. And that is the point of this video. It's not about that they increased $500, it's the Xbox tax. And no one is going to convince me that the Xbox tax isn't real. Shinobi could have easily compared it to the Sony one, but then that wouldn't get him views. That wouldn't get him clicks. That wouldn't get him the likes. But this one will, because the Xbox tax is real. If we go down here, I'm shocked multiple trusted outlets reported like this, like it was a signal that Microsoft are destroying their platform. Yeah, so the PlayStation dev kits, also known as dev kits, are usually pretty pricey. They can cost anywhere from around $2,000 to $3,000, or even more, depending on the exact version and the agreements with Sony. Plus, developers often need to go through an application process to get them. It's definitely an investment. And they're free to partner devs. So, you know, Colt Eastwood still, despite this person trying to paint a bad picture for PlayStation, came out and did the right thing and confirmed that if you're a partner dev, just like for Xbox, they are free. Yeah, they are. The prices are for non-partnered, same as Xbox. The price for dev kits is for those outside that. It's crazy, right? Hazardor Gaming here, you didn't know that? It's always funny reading reactions to see how clueless most people are, but admitting mistake, I can respect that. You know, it's clearly obvious the Xbox tax is real because Xbox Central journalists fucked shit up by not doing proper research. I mean, is it only Xbox researchers? You had The Verge that spoke about this. You had Eurogamer. You've got every single publication out there talking about the same thing. So, K-Med, you are wrong on this one. But yes, I did also see, I believe, Windows Central cover this, and they should have done better as well. So, on that one, he's definitely right on, right? So, you know, credit where credit is due. Price increases are bad, but what would be great to know is how much do they cost now compared to the other platform dev kits. The series dev kits are now 2,000, but PS5 ones were always 3,000 since their release. The price is just an example. Well, then it's still a fairly good price, and that's pretty much how it is right now, right? But unlike the PlayStation one with the Xbox one, there are multiple entries for partnered members to go into this. I can now turn my Xbox Series X for £20 into a dev kit. I can access developer mode and basically turn it into a developer console. Just like I would be using if I was working back in the games industry when I was doing my QA. The more you know, right? But here you've got P-Rock. He won't be the only CEO looking for a big payout. Now, considering this guy actually laid off 15,000 people, which is sad to see, he also made $100 million in payout. He clearly did something right for the AI community, and the shareholders love him for it. But he's, you know, Puerto Rock is still relying on this Judson Althoff to off Microsoft and Xbox entirely as a console hardware. And you can see over here, Satya Nadella just secured 96.5 million payday, 2025, the same year Microsoft cut 15,000 jobs, which is sad to see, but business is business, and they're going to cut costs to make more profits. It is, you know, that's what AI is going to do. But to still double down on Jelsten Althoff, big, and remember, he was also the one that was championing Althoff is going to get rid of Xbox. Xbox is done. Xbox is dead. It's being removed. It's being killed off. And yeah, he won't admit he was wrong though. And then this is the video that I was talking about, which completely blew me away. Now, bear in mind, listen to what he is saying. Jeff Gerstmann criticizes how Microsoft handles ROG Xbox Ally X and condemns the quote, almost criminal amount of misinformation. Borderlands 4, for example, is not a play anywhere title, but it leads unwary customers to purchase the $70 Xbox versions only playable via cloud. Okay, listen to what he is saying.
Cloud tab, they will let you buy. If you go to the cloud tab, they will let you buy an Xbox copy, an Xbox console copy of Borderlands 4.
So he's now upset that if you go to the cloud tab, which Microsoft has been pushing quite aggressively as a means to play, but you know, play your games, buy your games, play on the cloud. That's been a campaign that they've been doing for a number of months now, and the games have been expanding quite rigorously. especially for those countries that don't have Series X or Xbox Live access. This is a method for them to play those games, right? So if you go to the cloud tab and buy a game on the cloud tab, he's upset that you're going to be able to play it only on the cloud version, not natively. So do you remember the analogy I said where he's upset about going into BMW and buying a BMW and then walking out and not realizing it's not a Vauxhall or a Mercedes? Yeah, that's dumb. But it gets better.
And once you've done that, you can play it via the cloud.
You buy it on the cloud tab for cloud, and you can play it on the cloud. Is anyone else here seeing something wrong with him being upset now?
And they've got a little pop-up thing that says, this console game won't run on here, man. This is basically like it's a pop-up that if they wrote it clearly, it would say, dog, this isn't an Xbox. But instead it says, this is an Xbox console game, and it doesn't run over here.
So, when you go to the cloud and you try to buy it on your Xbox ROG Ally X, and you go to the cloud tab to buy a cloud game, and it tells you clearly that it doesn't run on your hardware, that's a problem. I can't be the only one that sees a problem here. I can't be the only one. The rest of this video, I'm going to leave in the description below. You can go watch it. It's more of the same. Basically, it's telling you. He even then turns around and says, oh, the average gamer is going to go and spend $1,000. No, the average gamer isn't even going to spend $1,000. Look, the average person doesn't just willy-nilly go and spend $1,000 without looking into what damn thing they're buying is. But this guy, because I guess he's loaded with money, believes that everyone is like him. Quite arrogant and ignorant, to be honest. But hey, what do I know? If I walk into a store and it says, this will only work on an Android device and I've got an Apple device, I'm going to buy that thing for the Android device and then start complaining that it doesn't work on my iPhone device. Does anyone else see this being completely and utterly mentally deranged? You do? Okay, we're on the same wavelength then, because that's what this Jeff Gerstmann is doing. He's complaining that on the Xbox ROG Ally or Ally X, you go into the store, you click on the cloud tab, you buy a game on the cloud, and then it tells you that this won't work natively on your machine, but will be a cloud game that you're purchasing. And then you click OK, and buy the game on the cloud. He's saying that messaging is misleading. I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy is one thing, mentally deranged is another. It seems the one thing that this Xbox ROG Ally X has actually done is really made the media, the PlayStation fans literally go mentally insane. Absolutely bonkers. There is no critical thinking here, especially with what he's saying. There is none. There is literally zero critical thinking. You cannot be this stupid. You can't. You cannot be this mentally dumb. But here we are, seeing it daily on social media. Oliver doing what he does best and just not making a single post worthwhile. But this one, I actually credit him for because it just proved my point even more. So thank you, Darko, for posting this. He thought it was going to have the gotcha moment, but all it's actually done is made both of them look even more stupid. I'll take that as a win any day of the week. All right, folks, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you've made it this far, I am going to potentially be a bit late for the stream tonight. I am working on, well, I am going to a studio to check out a game, and I'm going to be leaving there quite late. So I might be like half an hour to 45 minutes late for the stream. But when we come back, we'll be on live with my son and we'll talk about it and cover the latest news, including some of this stuff, because this is bonkers. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, folks, and remain legend.